Greetings, fellow citizens of Loudon County. I'm Sheriff Tim Guider, and we're here today to do a virtual tour of the Loudon County new jail addition. You know, COVID-19 wreaked havoc on a lot of things. Where our plan was to have an open house so the citizens of Loudon County could come and walk through and tour the new addition, but that is not going to be able to happen. So we came up with this virtual tour so that we could offer the tour to all Loudon County people and anyone else that wanted to watch the tour on YouTube. So follow me and we'll go in, and as soon as we can get in, I'm going to have with me Captain Jake Keener, who is our jail administrator, and he's going to help me with the tour. Come on in. This is the sally port, which allows people bringing in prisoners. It will hold up to 4 vehicles. So we can control, and this is a controlled environment when we bring prisoners and inmates in, to where we can get them out of the vehicle and take them right into the jail. This is also a place for washing patrol cars. So with me today is Captain Jake Keener, and he's the jail administrator of the Loudon County Jail, and he'll be doing most of the tour today. So come on in, we're gonna see the rest of the jail. Let me first say that, give you a little background. We saw the need for a new addition to our jail, probably as early as 2011. That's when we did need feasibility studies and determined that we were going to have an addition. We were having to file a plan of actions with the Tennessee Corrections Institute, which that was when we became overcrowded, and we saw the need to expand on our old jail. So with that, we have been in a plan of action now for 9 years. We really got serious about 2014 when we had other firms come in and do the needs assessment. So it wasn't until about 2017, 2018 to where the County Commission determined how much money we could spend, and we found a engineering firm and a construction firm. So in the last 2 years, 2.5 years, we have been building on this site. We feel like this is a good fix. It's going to give us approximately 265 bed space, and that will add to our current 91. Well, 265 total. Currently we have 91. So with that, I'll turn it over to Captain Keener.
All right, thanks, Sheriff. All right, as you look around the sally port, you see that we have a duty to keep our males and females separated. So with that being said, we have a male entrance and a female entrance. When patrol guys bring in the inmate, we know male and female, depends on what door they go in. Once they go on into booking, then our officers take control of it. This is our first stop. The officer takes the inmate. This is where we'll search them, take their handcuffs off, take their property, and then we'll move on into our booking area. Now this is our booking area. Currently in the old jail, we have a small desk and 2 holding cells. Here you can see we have 6 holding cells. We have a female side and the male side. Our booking officers will be up here to get the information. Our patrol guys have stations on each side to do their paperwork, their arrest warrants and things. And then we will move the inmate on in. We have showers where the inmate will go in here, they'll strip, they'll hand us their clothing through the drop-off window behind you, and then they will be issued their uniform and shoes, and then they'll come out to complete the process. They'll shower before they go into population so that we don't contaminate anything. And then we'll fingerprint and photograph and the other things. One of the holding cells here for the males, holding cell 4, you can see kind of what it looks like. This is, one cell is about the size of the 2 we currently have, so we're really stepping up. We're seeing the need and we're going to be able to meet it. And here's something we're really proud of, and this is where the architects and the commission really thought ahead. We have 3 rooms that are built larger than we needed so we can expand on this site. So this is our property room. This is where the inmates' belongings will go. This is where the officers will feed the uniforms in through the into the showers on each side, the male side and the female side. Now, as the sheriff said, we'll have 265 beds, but the property room, the kitchen, and our laundry is built big enough so we can expand another pod and add another 204 beds. So at some point, Loudon County will have 500 inmates, and we're ready, we're prepared. So it was good forward thinking, good planning. Obviously, sometimes we have inmates who are under the influence of drugs or alcohol, and they may need a little extra assistance. So something that we really needed is holding cell 5. This is a padded cell, and we've not had this before. I think maybe back in 1975, there was one in the old jail, but we've not had one in many years. This cell has a camera, and we can put people in here who are harm to themselves or to us, and we can keep good track of them. This kind of mirrors on the other side. This is a group holding. So if we had 10 or 20 inmates to take down to criminal court, we would house them here, stage them, and then load them up to take down on court days. As we come through X100 here, this is a male hallway. We should never have female inmates in this hallway. We're going to take to the right, and we have expanded our kitchen to be able to feed a 500 bed facility. We have our kitchen office. There at K3 are freezers or stoves. This is a big upgrade to what we've had before.
Certainly a state-of-the-art facility is going to meet our needs tremendously. This is something to be proud of.
We have corrections officers who work in the kitchen certainly, and then we have inmate workers who will wash trays and clean the kitchen. We also have inmate workers who will be here in our laundry room. Again, our machines are big enough to sustain a 500-bed facility if it comes to that. The inmates will be locked in here for the day. They'll do the laundry for the facility. And with doing that, they earn good days so they can work and hopefully get out here earlier. Now, something that we're really proud of, again, TCI says we have to keep males and females sight and sound separated. So we have programs. We have GED, we have church services, we have other groups come in that try to teach the inmates life skills so that they can get jobs when they move out. So we have a male classroom and a female classroom. So before we had one common area where we have a lot of problems with moving all the inmates through that one area. Keeping them separated, we'll be able to hopefully have more programs in here and be able to move more people out into society. So we're really excited about our opportunities here.
And the female side is mirrored on the other side of the wall there.
All right, as you move on down the male hallway, we come into our male cell blocks. These are called pods. So right here we have 4 pods that house different types of inmates. For example, let's go to A block. A block, as you can see, is a 2-level pod, which is, this allows us to house more inmates because we build up instead of out. This, it would be for the worst of the worst. This is maximum security. We have the ability to house them 1 or 2 at a time through here, and we will certainly control when they come out. So that makes it a lot safer on our officers. Right now we have 24 felony beds, and we have about 60 felons. So we have different levels of felons, certainly violent, some that are more of a blue-collar criminal, but we'll be able to put the ones that are most violent and dangerous in here, lock them down, and let them out when we want them out. If you'll look on the wall, we have stepped up to a video visitation system. So right now, for an inmate having a visit, we have to move them out of the cell, across the jail, and put them in a little visitation booth to see their family. With our new technology, we're able to have remote visits, and they're able to connect online with their family. We have a machine or 2 on the walls, but we also have iPads that allow the inmate to sign in. We are able to give them things that we couldn't give them before. We've got a very advanced law library. They can take educational classes on the iPads. And of course, they'll only use them when we want them to use them. But it saves on moving inmates through the facility, and it's a pretty cool tool for them. Anything, Sheriff?
Just that you might explain, this door goes into the outside rec area, which is, will necessitate no officer-inmate contact. They'll let themselves out. Rather than us coming in and getting them to take them to rec, they come right out into the rec. And this door will raise up, and you'll have sunlight and daylight and fresh air. So this is where they'll get their required daylight time per day. The other cell blocks and pods, they'll have other doors going through to get here. So, but this is a very good feature to have.
All right, as we move out of the rec room, we'll look into...
You want to look up to the control, or
Well, sure.
wait on that first? The central control room for the male population, and right now we have two corrections officers there trying to learn how to operate the new system, and everything is touch screen, and so even the doors, all doors, and what else?
We can shut off the water to the cells if the inmates were to flood and cause a problem. We can shut off the water, the lights. Each cell has to have an intercom in it. So if an inmate's in a cell, they can buzz and tell us what they need or what the problem is. And so it's very, number one, we don't do this now, so it's a big learning curve, but it's a wonderful tool. And I've noticed that my young officers pick it up a lot quicker than the older guys like me. Well, we'll take a quick look in here, and then you get an idea of how we have the surround. You can see in each cell. touchscreen? Just a quick idea of how the touchscreen works. If there's a door opened anywhere in the building, an alarm goes off and we push the button, the camera changes automatically to let us see what's going on there. If an inmate buzzes or an officer buzzes, it'll pull it up, so it'll change the screen. If you look around, the pod system is awesome because an officer has good sight lines. In our current control room, you can't see anything. Here, you're able to look into each cell block, and so you can watch them on camera, we watch them physically, and it's going to be pretty high tech. It's going to take some minutes to learn it, but we're getting there. Anything else in here,
I
sir?
think that's good. Corrections officers here in the control room also have their own bathroom, which is below them right here, where they do not have to leave the control room for any reason.
That's right. They're here for their shift. Now, let me say that the officers out working also have keys, so they can manually open the cell or they can buzz in and have control open it. Very quickly here in B block, this will be our medical wing, and we have something. Every cell in here is called a negative pressure cell. So that means that the pressure stays the same on the inside or the out. If we had someone who was contagious, they would be in the cell, door shut. When we unlock it, it would prevent the germs from coming out. So that's pretty neat to have, especially in this day and age. But this would be where our medical staff will come and check on inmates who are just under special watch. This is a cell that we like a lot, but it's concerning. This would be our minimum risk cell. If we classify people correctly, I can hold 64 people in. As you see, I don't have the ability to lock them down in individual cells. It's a dormitory style. And so if we're full, you've got 64 inmates here with just a couple of officers working. Now, hopefully they don't mean us any harm and we can handle whatever happens in here. But this is a lot of people with very few staff members. As you can see, these are going to be the ones that are not violent offenders. We don't expect them to be. And so they'll come here. If someone comes to jail, they start the process. They earn their way into this cell block. They'll go into a lockdown up front for 48 hours till we decide that they're not impaired or high on anything. Then they'll start working their way around our classification system and hopefully wind up here in about 3 weeks so that they can be in a misdemeanor pod. All right, next we've got a bit of a walk to go to the female side. As we pass here, we've got an isolation cell. We have a medium security cell. Again, the X hallway is it's an all-male hallway. You'll see down here a big wall of plywood. This is where the old and the new jail will connect. Right, we're now at the back wall of the old jail. So at some point, once we move inmates over, the construction company will start a remodel on the existing structure. And this will be the wall that this hallway continues down in. We'll still have to access our sessions courtroom through this old part.
Yeah.
We'll move inmates from here over. This is our female pod. Now, obviously, we have more male beds than we have females. We've got probably 204 male beds. Here, we'll have about 38 female beds, and then we'll be remodeling a cell in the old part to house females that just can't be in here. What makes this special, it has a control room attached. So up here, I will have an officer stationed inside this control room at all times, so she will be watching what's going on as well as answering calls from these inmates. So she'll be dedicated here, and then we'll have a female officer that's dealing with these inmates, whereas the other side will mostly be males. This is what's called a sally port. This is where we would bring the inmates before they go into the main cell block. And again, we're butting up against the old jail right here. To the right, you see the female rec room. This is a lot like the male rec room next door. We have the ability to raise the door when it's sunny, when it's raining, or bad weather to stay down. But we'll have to move the inmates from the door that we just came out of over here.
Can you open that right now?
I can.
Okay. So that gives you an idea of how we are able to give the inmates, particularly the female inmates here in this rec, the requirement that is state required for them to get fresh air and daylight. Thank you.
Next, we'll run up to our female control room. We keep the lights off in here because with the window tint, when the lights are on, the inmates can see right in there. So this is how the officer will work. But it's kind of a smaller version of the male control room. If we were to have a major incident, either control room can take over and control the entire jail. If someone were to breach our male control room, they would deactivate the computers, and the officer over here would run it for us. So. All right, as we make our way out, we're going down our female hallway here. These doors certainly go outside in case of emergency. But this is, when this entire hall and this section is built just to keep the males and females separated. This is the female classroom that the sheriff pointed out, mirrors the male. And this would be a sally port where we could house the females for a few minutes before we move them down. And now we're back to our intake area. I believe the last thing that we're proud of, this is our Bondsman's room. This is where our bonding company will come to the outside We can put the inmate in here, they can slide the paperwork back and forth and get the signatures that they need, all without coming into the building. So we have the female holding, and then the female sally port, and that's the jail.
We hope this has given you an idea of and a good representation of the new addition to the county jail. I appreciate Captain Keener for the tour. I appreciate WLNT for actually coming and videoing our tour. I want to thank the County Commission for the funds that they appropriated to build this really nice facility, but much needed, not only for the inmates, but for our staff. The working conditions in the old jail was really bad. So with that being said, and again, we were supposed to open in March, and the coronavirus kind of slowed things down. And again, we're unfortunate that we're unable to give you an open house in person, but maybe this gives you an idea of what your tax dollars has been spent.